remember the first thing I bought with my first wage was a thing called a Gonk, which was not much different to that microphone thing, all fluffy, and it had eyes. And I was ever so pleased with that. A bit silly, but there you go. I was only a teenager.
I used to spend it on records. And it was opposite Harrogate Market, indoor market. If you went downstairs, there was a record store. And I knew maybe one person. I used to go to the folk clubs and I'd think, oh, there's, I don't know, Ralph McTell or Dave Berland or somebody. And then you'd look at the back and the backing musicians and the producers, and then you'd look at them, and if they occurred on any other album, you'd think, oh, somebody called Bert Jansch, I've never heard of him. He looks a bit weird. And then there's a Bert Jansch album, and you think, oh, well, I'll try it. So you paid your 30 bob, that was it.
You search for music these days, but not in a store on discs. You're normally searching it on your phone like this, going through albums. Don't get me wrong, I still go to HMV and look at albums and buy one and then put it in my little CD player or my Xbox. But half the time I'm going through YouTube or I'm going through iTunes to buy my music because it's there. I don't have to go out and buy my music, it's just there.
It's just easier because I don't really go to music shops, but I'm mostly just on my phone because most of the stuff I look for are free and you can just download it. It's just there like that.
I didn't have a car just for my own personal use. I shared it with my sister, and it wasn't a car, it was a van. It was a baby Austin, and it was falling to pieces, but it did only cost £75. So we didn't expect too much of it,
I don't know about them.
Save for the car when you've just been paying for all them lessons.
You're very fortunate if you have a family that can afford to pay for them for you. You're very lucky, but a lot of people don't. So they have to get a job to then work their way up to be able to afford the lessons, to then get the car and then pay for the insurance and all that. It's just more pressure.
Silly things we used to do was just drive up the M1 to Watford Gap because it was there, and it was before motorways. Whereas say you'd go up to the service station, that was really quite exciting. Or the Busy Bee Cafe where all the bikers were and things like that. So you just go up for a coffee. And that's what you had as well, coffee bars, Madeline Coffee Bar. Oh my goodness, this is bringing back some memories. Yeah, you just go and have a coffee somewhere and hang out because it's all mods and rockers and have a bit of fun there. So
the thing that taught me, I think, about not having money was the fact that you couldn't buy anything during the war. Everything was obviously rationed, restricted. When Jeff went into the army, I saved his army pay the whole time he was away. So when he came back, we could afford to put the deposit down for a house, which was unusual in those days for young people to buy houses.
If that happened to us and we couldn't buy anything for a certain reason because of a war, that would be annoying. It'd be more annoying than it is now because sometimes we can't even buy anything anyway because we can't get enough money. But if we did have enough money and we were willing to pay that much for something and then they said that we couldn't have it, it'd be so frustrating because, well, what else can we get? That's too expensive and we can afford that, but you're not letting us have it. So what's the point in selling it? I couldn't deal with that.
If you've got the money, it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
Use it.
Trade.
The Beatles were just starting. I became a huge fan of the Beatles. Didn't like the Stones. I didn't always have enough money to buy a disc, a vinyl record. But sometimes my sister and I used to share. I don't know where the money went. There wasn't a lot of money, but I don't know where it went, if you know what I mean. Okay, it's a long time ago. And we didn't have very much. I never went to a gig. I still have never been to any big concert by any big star. They were too expensive in the main. I remember the Beatles coming to the Odeon in '64 and I asked if I could go, but I forget how much it was, but it was more than my wage would allow and my dad wouldn't lend me the money. I said, don't want you in town at that time now.